What's up, YJ gang? I'm back here with another video. If you've been wondering where I've been missing because I am, excuse me, I'm trying to get over this cold that I've had for a couple days now. If you can't hear, I still have a runny nose, well, a stuffed nose, I should say, and a cough. So I'm just trying to get over it, and I wasn't really feeling to make a video, but I'm feeling a little better, so here I am. So as you can tell by the title, I'm doing a video on my worst breakup. But before we get into the video, I need you to like this video. I need you to comment down below, subscribe, and also turn on your post notifications so that every time I post a video, you will be notified. So this video is kind of going to be a little hard because the worst breakup was with like someone that I fell deeply in love with, and it's been years. I'm 27 now, and I dealt with this man years ago, maybe when I was like just becoming a teenager. So as you can tell, like that's a lot of time dealt with him. So I honestly don't even know where to start. So I met him through Facebook. He had I can't even say recently, I'm sorry. My mind is like all over the place. Excuse me. So when I met him, he had wrote me on Facebook and told me that he heard or seen me one time, and he was going to approach me and say something to me, but he was not really scared to, but he didn't know how to approach me because he told me that he would have thought that I was going to like ignore him or blow him off or whatever the case was. So honestly, that is what happened. When he first wrote me on Facebook, I completely ignored him. I read his message, left him on read. I didn't really say anything because I didn't really know who he was, so I didn't say anything to him. So it was a couple of attempts that he tried to talk to me, and we didn't live in the same town. He lived 10 minutes away from me. It's not really a far distance, but he lived far enough because I was still young and I wasn't driving or anything. So 10 minutes is like a big difference when you're like walking or taking a bus or something. So when he, sorry. When he was writing me, he was telling me like he had seen me that one time, and then he knows friends of mine that I didn't even know about because nobody even mentioned him to me, which is fine because they didn't have a reason to mention him to me. So when he was writing me and I finally gave in and I wrote him back and responded, we was talking when I first talked to him and I actually started responding. It was like an all day thing from that day forward. We would talk every day, talk throughout the day. Even when we weren't talking, he would just text me, call me, and make sure everything is okay with me, how my day was going, stuff like that. Of course, that's every girl's dream, is like just the attention and stuff of that nature. So that's what was going on at first. So everything between us when we first started talking was perfect, literally perfect. Nothing went wrong. Nobody could tell me, oh no, don't talk to him, don't deal with him, whatever. Nobody could get in between on how I felt. So as time went on, he finally had asked me on a date. Our first date, we went bowling, and it wasn't just me and him. He told me, he had asked me on a date, and again, like I said, I was young, so I had to ask to go. I asked my mom to go. She asked me where I was going, who I was going with. I explained to her that I met this boy on Facebook, but I'm not just going to go on a random date with someone that I don't know. So I explained to her that he was consistent on writing me on Facebook and that I did ignore him, but then I finally did answer. And she was like, she asked me if that would be my first time meeting him, and I said yes. She said, are you going by yourself? I said, for the date leaving here, I'm going to be going by myself, but it's not just going to be us two. It's going to be another couple. So she was okay with it. I didn't have a phone at that time, so I took my mom's phone, and she had another phone. So she gave me her phone to get in contact with her just in case something went wrong, as all mothers do, are so like skeptical and always want to make sure everything's okay. So and I'm her oldest, so she trusted me a little more, but she was still hesitant. So when I got picked up, he came to my door, he knocked on my door. Of course my mom answered. He introduced himself, and when I seen him myself, I was thinking to myself, like, Mommy, he doesn't really seem like a bad person, a mean person, and stuff like that. Yes, baby.
I need to put the cheese on the video.
No, I got it. Here, give me. Okay, go sit down. I got it. Go sit down.
I'm not gonna eat them all.
So back to what I was saying. So when I seen him, I was just thinking to myself, like, he doesn't seem mean, he doesn't seem harmless, but anything could go wrong. So I just put my thoughts like to the back and just was like bracing myself for anything that could go wrong. I wasn't really thinking that something was going to go wrong, but I thought like it could happen. So I just had that thought in my brain. So fast forward a little bit, we went bowling with his friends. They were a couple, a boy and a girl, and we had fun. We bowled for hours. We had fun. We ate and stuff like that. That day I actually really did enjoy myself. It was really fun because I even as me being 27 now, I don't go anywhere or really do anything unless it's with my best friend. So going out bowling was very fun. After bowling, he didn't expect to stay at my house. He told me it was perfectly fine. He didn't expect to stay, and that he was going to drop me off at home, which was perfectly fine. And that was the plan from the beginning anyways, to basically him take me out on a date and then drop me off back home. So so I got dropped back off at home, and I gave my mom her phone, and ended up falling asleep. And I went to sleep. I woke up the next morning. I went on Facebook. He was writing me. We was talking and things like that. So for those couple months, everything was good. And then as things progressed, as we were talking longer and longer, I started feeling like uncomfortable. Things started changing. His attitude started changing. And just things that he did, I wasn't really aware of. So it was like very shocking to me because, again, I've never really went out and like dated and stuff like that. So that was kind of more like my first serious boyfriend. So of course, when something went wrong, I'm thinking to myself, like, okay, it's my fault. I did it. And then I would always apologize and stuff like that. So, our relationship got serious to the point where like I said, he lived 10 minutes away from me. So our relationship got serious to where I would go stay at where he was staying at with his uncle. So I was staying with his uncle and him. And at that point, everything just went left. Everything from there, when I used to stay there for days, I used to stay there days at a time. And again, I didn't have a phone, so I didn't really have any way to get in contact with like my sister or my mom or my dad, anything like that. I didn't really have any way to get in contact with anybody. So when things went left, I was scared for my life. Like, I was super scared. I didn't know what to do, how to react. I didn't even have a phone to call 911. That's how bad it was. So, so when things started going left, I tried my best on multiple attempts to leave him, and just that'd be it. But me being young, at this point, I'm probably like 16, 17. So I'm more mature. I know what's going on. I know right from wrong. So when things started getting bad, I used to just like leave. And I'm little. Like, I haven't stood up for y'all to see me in a video yet, but I'm small. I'm 27 now. I'm still 5'2" and 140 pounds. So I'm still little. And before my son, I was even smaller. I was like 102 pounds. So I gained a little bit of weight, but still 102 pounds. I'm little. I'm like a toothpick. So So we would argue over little petty things. Like, it could just be, oh, like anything. Oh, I could be talking to a guy friend. He was honestly the most jealous boyfriend I've ever had in my entire life. Literally the most jealous. I've never in my life experienced so much insecureness and jealousness of my life ever. So a lot of things happen. I'm not going to explain everything in this one video. If you want to listen or watch part 2 of this video, I will definitely make a video for you. Even if you don't, I'm still gonna make a part 2. But I used to be dealing with him. I was always crying. I was always upset. My feelings were always hurt. I was betrayed a lot. I was really betrayed a lot. I got told I was being cheated on in my face, and at that time, like I said, I didn't have a way to leave. His uncle was homebound and was literally in a wheelchair, wheelchair bound. So he had a very hard time of hearing. So even when me and him did argue, his uncle was like confused on what was going on. So like he kind of like got away with doing the things that he did and saying the things he said to me. So at one point, like, me and his uncle did not talk. But then when I finally did meet his uncle, because his uncle wondered, oh, like, why is this girl always here? So I finally met his uncle. His uncle loved me just like I loved him. Rest in peace to that man. So yeah, so like a lot of things that went on between me and him. His uncle was always questioning, like, what's going on? Are you guys okay? His uncle was very nice, always asked me if I was hungry, thirsty, just anything. He was always nice to me. So like as our relationship went on, it was always an issue on things that I did, how I dressed, who I talked to, who I hung with, just everything. Anything that I posted on social media, it was an issue. It could be a little status, it could be how I feel about something. He always had an attitude, no matter what it was about. When things really did start getting bad and I started actually leaving his, I actually was finding a way to leave his house to come home. I started explaining to my mother what was going on, and she told me, like, that's not somebody that I need to be with and I need to leave him alone. I was young, dumb, and just like wasn't thinking. So I always, every time we argued, and I would literally tell myself, like, I'm done. Here he comes, writing me on Facebook, apologizing, writing me 6-page paragraphs and stuff like that. And then I read it, and it's like everything, of course, that I wanted to hear. So I would forgive him, go straight back, and then we'd be good for a couple days, maybe a day or two, maybe 3, and then the whole shenanigans start again. So I was just like over it at that point, and I kept telling myself, like, just be done, just be done, just be done, just be done. But I kept going back because, like, when you love somebody, it's like you don't know what to do. It's like you're stuck between a hard rock. It's like, go with your gut feeling or be with the person that you say that you love. So it's like I was confused on what to do. So at that point, I kept going back. Get over there when I'm done. So I kept going back and back and back, and I kept getting my feelings hurt more and more and more. And at that point, when he was really disrespecting me, like really bad, it was hurting my feelings. I was always hurt. I was always crying. And the people that I was friends with always told me, like, yo, just leave. You deserve so much better. You're beautiful. You'll find somebody that's for you, and he doesn't deserve you. Just let him be his own. Let somebody else deal with him. Let somebody else have him. And at that point, I'm thinking to myself, like, oh my goodness, y'all are right. Like, I just need to leave this boy alone and go about my life, because I still have a life to live out here. This is way before I had my son, everything. I was still, at one point, still in high school. So a lot of things was like running through my head because I'm a female. And it's just like, at that point, I grew to love him, but I didn't really know who he was until he got me by myself. When he got me by myself, it was like, it was just crazy. He just treat me like some girl on the street, like talk to me any type of way, call me all types of names, basically discourage me, tell me I'm ugly. But if I didn't understand, like, if I'm ugly, then why do you have me here? Like, why am I here if I'm ugly? And every time I would try to leave, he would like stand in front of the door to where I couldn't get out. And I didn't drive. I didn't have any money to get on the bus. But I was determined that if he fell asleep, or if he was in the shower, or if he walked to the store or took his uncle's car to go somewhere, I was going to find a way to escape. I was determined to find a way to leave and like never go back. But every time I did escape and came back home to my mom's house, he was just always writing me. Like, it got to a point where the one day we got into a really bad argument. I was telling, because he was disrespecting me. He was like on the phone with different females. I caught him texting another girl, basically in a whole nother relationship with another female, while he has me at his uncle's house laying in his bed. So I felt disrespected. And at that point, I'm thinking to myself, like, speak up, say how you feel, don't hold it in. So I opened my mouth. I said what I felt, and he disrespected me. He choked me. He did a lot of things. Like I said, it'll be a part 2. And at that point, I was just like, I'm done. It's over. Because if you could choke me to kill me, you're going to strangle me. And I have a life to live. My mom has no idea that any of this stuff is going on. So I was just like, I'm done. Completely done. So I was trying to leave, and he had his body up against the door, and I couldn't get out, and there was no other way. He had like the door he's standing in front of, and then there's 2 windows on the by his bed, but there was no way for me to get out, because if I would have tried to get out the window, he would have grabbed my legs, so it was no point. So his uncle's neighbor came downstairs, and he had opened the door because she called his name, and he went out the door, left the door open, and his uncle had asked him, like, hey, what's going on with you and Yvette? And he was like, oh, nothing's going on, we're fine, we're just talking. And I yelled and said, we're not just talking. He's holding me hostage. And the lady that came downstairs, excuse me, the lady that came downstairs had came and was like, what do you mean he's holding you hostage? I was like, I want to go home. And she was like, well, she had asked him, like, why are you not letting her leave? Like, if she wants to go home, let her go home. And he was like, no, I'm not letting her go home. We have stuff to talk about. I'm not done with this conversation. And I was like, well, I want to go home. So she asked him to go on the other side of the living room. So, I mean, the living room it was only but so big. It wasn't like a huge living room, but she was standing by the door where I was behind. Like, she was standing on the other side of the door. I'm in the bedroom, the door's right here, and she's on the other side of the door. So I'm literally talking to her through the door. So my boyfriend at the time was standing in the living room, and then his uncle's on this side sitting in the wheelchair or whatever, watching TV. And she was like, do you want to go home? And I'm like, yes, find me a way out of here. I want to leave. I do not want to be here. Don't leave me in here with this man any longer. Like, I want to go. So she told me to open the door. Mind you, my heart is pounding because I didn't know what to do or what was going to happen if I opened the door. Like, what if he ran through her to get to me, to try to get me or something? I didn't know what to think, what to say, anything. I was like confused. So I had opened the door, and she was just like, and as she's talking to me, she's talking to him. She's like, don't do anything stupid. Just let her leave. I'm going to take her. Just let it go. Let her go home. Let her think about it. Let her clear her head, and she'll contact you when she gets home. She was wrong, but anything to get me out of the house, I let her say. So I was just like, yes, I will. He even asked me, he was like, are you going to call me? Are you going to text me? I'm like, yeah, I'll call you. I'm like, it's just time that, like, we need time apart, because we're always together. I'm always here. It's either I'm always at your house, or you're always at my house, or just period. We're just always together, and we need time apart. So he was very upset that day, but he still let me leave. So she ended up taking me home. I got home. Mind you, I was young, so when I did go out there to his uncle's house, he always came to get me. So I didn't really know my way around. So when she was driving me home, she was like, do you know your way home? And I was like, no, I really don't. So we drove for like a good hour trying to get me home. I finally got home. By time, lie to you not, by time I got home, he texted my mom's phone. It was like five different paragraphs of him apologizing once again for the things that he knew that he was doing that he shouldn't be doing, and expected me to apologize. Well, expected me to accept his apology. When I got home and my mom gave me her phone, I already knew what it was. I already knew it was a message from him. So I'm just thinking in my brain, like, no, this man is not texting my mom's phone after he just acted and basically just tried to hold me hostage that whole time I was there. So when I seen the messages, I didn't even read them. I was just deleted the thread, and that was it. And I handed my mom her phone back, and that was really it. So, again, like I said for the third time, there is going to be a part 2 because a lot of things happened in my worst breakup, but I don't want to make this video an hour or so long, because my son will be impatient with me, and I don't want him to ruin it. So yeah, that's part 1 of my worst breakup. I am going to be talking about the same boy in part 2. It's not going to be someone else. It's going to be the same person. It's just that it's a lot more to the story. And also, another reason why I'm ending this video is because my throat is starting to hurt. And it's about that time that I take some medicine before it gets way too late. So before I end this video, give this video a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe to my channel, turn your post notifications on, and make sure you comment down below all different type of video ideas. I'm down for any different ideas. I have some in mind that I wrote down, but it's not really many. I have some. I'm going to be doing challenge, so you can comment down below challenges, pranks, story times, anything. I'm not really a vlogger. I'm going to try to do it. It's just hard at times because I am a mother. I'm a single mother, so I do it by myself. So it's kind of hard at times. But yeah, so make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Turn your post notification bell on so you can be notified every time I post a video. And peace.